What's up, YouTube? We're back. It's your boy, Mad Stacker. And today, we're taking another trip to the coin store. So, this trip took place about 4 days after the last trip I took down to Pasadena. This time I was in Katy, looking at another house, and every time I go over to the west side of town, I like to go to katycoin.com. You can check them out on the web. They are my favorite coin store. I am still in the process of building a relationship with those guys. They've seen me quite a few times now, but this day was really fun for me because I got to bring my 12-year-old son. He was running around with me that day, and the plan was to hit a couple coin stores as we were running around. We were originally going to hit 3. We were going to be back down in Pasadena later that afternoon, and we were going to go to that one too, but it ended up getting too late, so we didn't get to go to that one. So the first one we got to go to was the one in Katy, the one that I really like, and I will grab the stuff that I picked up that day here. Now I'm probably just going to dump this out and sort it kind of as we go, just to not make too much of a mess. Well, that was kind of fun. Alright, so if you watched my other videos, you heard me mention this about wondering if the slabs were all going to fit in this. So I picked up this PCGS box for $5, and I was super excited about that. And since we're here, I haven't tried this yet. Let's go ahead and do that together. Alright, so the PCGS obviously fits in there. They both fit. That is fantastic. No, they don't both fit. The NGC keeps it from closing. Look, it's just a little bit too tall. Well, that's a bummer. Yep, works great with the PCGS. That just means I have to buy that many PCGS coins, I guess. Alright, so we're going to set that there out of the way for now. I also finally picked up some tubes. I've been looking at these online and watching different YouTube videos about what was the right size and things like that. I know a lot of people go to Guardhouse. I think it's guardhouse.com for this kind of stuff. I was in the really buying mode at that point, and I just had a hard time spending any kind of money on an online order for storage stuff. I wanted to spend every extra dollar I had on silver. But at Katy Coins, they had these for 50 cents. No matter what kind of the roll was, what size it was, this and this, same price, 50 cents. So I spent about $5 or so on some tubes. So I was able to stack that stuff up, and I'll do some rearranging and sorting of my stack later and let you guys take part on that with me. But for now, we'll just get all these little things out of the way so we can talk about some coins. Alright, there we go. Alright, so learning about junk. I had made this purchase the last time I went to that LCS. Kind of a junk purchase, but not really. But I finally watched Silver Dragon's video on breaking down dollar face value of coins to know what you were paying for junk silver. So I was starting to learn. I went out, and it was really awesome because they have these huge bins of junk silver there that you get to kind of just go through. And they had the Walker half dollars. They had the Washington quarters and the Mercury dimes. And I'll be honest with you, the Mercury dime is one of my favorite coins. Now, I'll give you a little bit of history on all of these and kind of separate them out, but I'll talk as I'm separating them. This one here, let me do some zooming in here. Got a 1942 there. Another 1942. 1943. Let's do that up here. There we go. Oh, still can't see him. All right, 1943. This one is a 1942. 1941. 44. So I got to go through it was a bag of several thousand of these, and I got to dump them out on this felt tray. And with my son, I got to explain to him about the details in the wings, how you're looking for details in the feathers, and how you're looking for the lines in the branch on the back. So that was kind of a special experience for me. He doesn't really have a lot of interest in this sort of thing. It's another 1944. But he hung out with me there as we went through all these coins and picked out $1 worth of dimes, and then $2 worth of quarters, and $2 worth of half dollars. So we picked up $4 worth of face for $15 times face. I'm sorry, $5, because we got two, and one. So we got $5 face for $75, and that was 15 times face at the time. That's a 46, 39, 42, and a 45. Good looking coins. So these are probably my least favorite of what I got that day, but I realized that these are important for the base of my stack. I didn't even notice that was that dirty when I picked it up. I guess I was just looking at this side. But for 1934, I'll take it. And I think going forward, I think the 64s are probably going to be the one I chase after the most, simply because I know there was a lot of them made. 1959, that's the year my father was born. I know there was a lot of them made, as well as I know they're going to have the full silver content, which isn't really that big of a deal right now. But if we end up in a world where we're using this stuff for payment of stuff, people may be weighing the silver at that point, which I don't think they are now. That doesn't really matter, but at some point it might. So let's talk a little bit first about the Mercury dime. I'll back up here. The Mercury dime was done by Adolph Wyman, and the obverse is the Young Liberty on this side. The reason we call these Mercury dimes is because the Young Liberty on here is so often confused for the Roman god Mercury. And so we call these Merc dimes. But what they really are is Winged Liberty dimes. Winged Liberty head dimes, I'm sorry. Not Mercury's. Mercury is a slang term that we use. They made these from 1916 to 1945. And if they don't have a mint mark on them, that means they were made in Philadelphia. So pretty cool, right? On the reverse is a fascie symbolizing unity and strength, and an olive branch symbolizing peace. I'll zoom in there for you a little bit. Let that focus. Bye. I love the Merc dime. So, and as you know, this is one of the coins in my logo. See there, that's the Mercury dime. And then over here is the Kraken, 2-ounce Canadian Kraken. And right there, none other than the Morgan dollar. Make you holla. All right, so let's go over some mintages real quick. 1942, there were 205,410,000 of these made. 1943, there were 191,710,000. In 1944, there were 231,410,000. Let's zoom back out here. All right, let's talk about the Walking Liberty. You guys know a lot about this coin already. One of the most popular coins there is out there. So I did learn, this was also made by the same person that made the dime, Adolph Wyman. It's got the full-length Liberty figure. I did learn that he copied this from a French designer. His name was Oscar Roders, and he had a design of a lady walking that was on French coins, and so this was copied off of that. I was never aware of that before. And of course, the reverse is the eagle perched up on the mountain crag. And we can talk about the mintages for these as well. For 1939 walkers, there were 6,812,000. For the 1942, this was the highest they ever made. There was 47,818,000. The 45, 10,156,000. And then the 46, 12,118,000. All right. Now, like I said, these Washington quarters are my least favorite out of the stuff here, out of the constitutional here. But that's just because I feel like I grew up with these quarters, as opposed to this stuff is all before my time and much more exciting for me. All right. So let's talk about the Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was actually, they first struck it in 1932, and the reason was it was the 200-year anniversary of Washington. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to interrupt the Liberty quarter. They wanted to interrupt the Liberty half dollar for 1 year and make a special Washington half dollar. But then Congress decided, no, we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to change the standing Liberty quarter to a Washington quarter permanently going forward. So that's the first year, 1932, when they switched to the Washington quarters. I will give you some mintages on these real quick. The 1934, there were 31,912,052 made. The 1959, there were 24,384,000 made. The 62, there were 36,156,000 made. And get ready for this, 1964. You ever wonder why you see so many of these things? 560,390,585 Philadelphia's. 704,135,528 Denver's. That is a lot of coins. So, there you go. Got information on all these. Sorry if I'm boring some of you folks. I like to get into some of the details. I like to learn about these coins. I like to understand who made them and why they made them the way they did. It's just part of the fun for me. And I know this is just boring old constitutional. And I've got some other really cool coins coming up, and we'll talk about those too. But sometimes we have to talk about the base of the stack, the stuff that you should be basing your stack on. And the more I'm getting into this, the more I'm learning that this kind of stuff here is going to be the most important part of my stack, because, you know, the fancy stuff is awesome. And, you know, this is great if I'm trying to do a flip. But if I live in a world where, you know, the SHTF has happened, this doesn't hold any more value than this. I mean, it holds more weight value, but the numismatic value of this is gone. I'm going to be using this to buy groceries for my family, which could never happen in my lifetime. But if it does, the reason why we stack and not collect, although I'm doing both, but the premise behind stacking is to be prepared when the situation arises, to be able to use that stack to survive. So with the addition of these coins, this now brings my stack to 148.7634 ounces. I'm all in for $3,212.94, and my average cost per ounce is $21.60. So I appreciate you guys coming to hang out. I know I was a little long-winded. There were a lot of numbers thrown out on this one, but you know, it's part of the journey, and I appreciate you guys being here to learn with me as I go through that journey. And if you've been watching my other videos, I hope you'll continue to stick around and continue to let me provide value and share my journey with you. I really enjoy doing it. It's part of what makes this whole thing fun for me. And if you're new here and this is your first time or second time seeing one of my videos and you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, notify so you'll get notified when you see my videos. I'm really happy you made it. I hope I can inspire you to get yourself some constitutional silver and get involved in this stacking that we're doing right now. People are always asking, is now a good time to buy? And the answer for me is always yes. If you can find the right deal that makes sense for you. I know the price goes up and down, but that's always going to happen. We're always going to be going up and down from day to day in the price of silver. Some will be more drastic than others, and it's okay to hold back for a day or so when it's necessary, but you want to be constantly adding to your stack because you never know when the finish line is there. You don't really get to control. You can control your start line, but you can't control the finish line in the stacking game. So get started now. Don't waste any more time. If you're new to this community, you found the right spot. This is a wonderful YouTube community. There's so much generosity that happens here. I just watched a video earlier where Silver Smith Shield sent in a beautiful hand-carved 3.8 ounce fish bar for Inefficient Stacker. Just wasn't commissioned to do it, just made it and sent it to him as a gift. And I see stuff like that over and over, and it's so amazing. So stick around. You're in the right spot. Don't worry. You're going to fit in just fine because we're all mad here.